If you're a Golden State Warriors fan, you know that every offseason brings news that makes your heart race. This time, two behind-the-scenes moves promise to directly impact the future of the franchise. One involves a young talent who is still in crucial negotiations to stay, while the other brings a possibility of a reinforcement that could completely transform the team's frontcourt. These are stories that connect the present to the future and could determine whether Stephen Curry's window still has the energy for another title run. But before revealing all the details, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because you won't want to miss any updates about the Bay Area team. News 1. The city of San Francisco never sleeps, but during the off-season months, it seems that all the fans' attention focuses on one place, the Chase Center. This is where dreams are built, rumors gain momentum, and expectations turn into pressure. Every summer is the same. When it comes to the Golden State Warriors, there is no room for calm. Expectations are not just high, they are stratospheric. The team that redefined modern basketball lives under a magnifying glass that amplifies every decision, whether bold or conservative. However, this year, instead of celebrations over quick and accurate signings, what was seen was frustration, impatience, and a series of criticisms that echoed not only among journalists and analysts, but also within the fan base itself. The Warriors' offseason was stalled by a single name, Jonathan Kuminga. The 22-year-old forward, drafted in 2021, has been growing every season and establishing himself as a key piece in the rotation. Last season, he averaged 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists in about 26 minutes per game. More than the numbers, he brought athletic explosiveness, the ability to drive the basket, and defensive energy rarely seen in players so young. It's no surprise that his contract renewal became the top priority for the front office. But instead of a quick negotiation, what unfolded was a drawn-out process full of back and forth, despite still playing at a high level entire offseason for franchise. While Kuminga's situation remained unresolved, the Warriors were left with their hands tied. Valuable free agents were signed by direct Western Conference rivals, while Golden State could only watch the market move. Time passed, names disappeared from the list, and fans wondered what exactly is happening behind the scenes. It wasn't until this Monday, weeks after the market opened, that the first piece fell into place. Gary Payton II, the veteran guard and defensive specialist, was re-signed by the franchise, a move that brought some relief, but also made it clear that the team is still far from having the roster finalized. Payton II, known for his insane defensive intensity, his ability to guard multiple perimeter positions, and his energy-boosting presence on the court, is already a fan favorite. His stats from last season don't stand out, just over 5 points per game, but his impact goes beyond traditional numbers. He is the type of player who changes the rhythm of the game, forces opponents to rethink their plays, and fits perfectly into Steve Kerr's dynamic system. Re-signing Payton is important, but it is far from solving the franchise's dilemmas. And here comes another delicate point. Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton, who have already verbally committed to Golden State, have not yet officially signed their contracts. This means that the roster, at least for now, will not be complete at the start of training camp. For a team that relies heavily on chemistry, timing in cuts and passes, and cohesion between different generations, this delay is a problem. It may seem like a minor detail, but in the NBA, every week of preparation matters, especially in such a competitive Western Conference. During Media Day, Steph Curry was directly asked about Kuminga's situation. As the true leader he is, he did not shy away from the topic. He said that the team has communicated, acknowledged the frustration, and that there is, indeed, pressure. But at the same time, he reinforced confidence that Kuminga will sign, and that when he is on the court, he will be ready to win. We respect the process. We know JK is understanding the situation, and when he's here, he'll be ready to work. These words are typical of Curry, calm but full of meaning. He speaks to the fans, but also sends a message to the locker room and the front office. Interestingly, Curry was not alone in this role. Draymond Green, the team's defensive engine, and even Jimmy Butler, who was close to the group during the offseason, participated in conversations and even pressured management to resolve Kuminga's situation as quickly as possible. This shows two things. First, how stars are increasingly involved in roster-building decisions, not just playing but also guiding and influencing choices. Second, how this saga dragged on longer than anyone would have liked. The deadline for Kuminga to accept the qualifying offer is October 1st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. This means that, at a minimum, he and the remaining free agents will miss 1 or 2 days of training camp. It may seem minor, but it's another small crack in a process that should be smooth. From a tactical perspective, Kuminga's absence at any stage of preparation is a problem. He is the link between the Warriors' historic generation, Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, and the future the franchise needs to build. Kuminga can play as a power forward in small ball lineups, guard more physical wings, attack the basket, and generate points when the shooters are struggling. He is a young engine that balances a veteran's experience. Without him, the team loses speed, defensive versatility, and identity for the coming years. Compared to Andrew Wiggins, for example, Kuminga already shows improvement in offensive aggressiveness and physical consistency, though he still needs to refine his long-range shot and team reading. Looking at the expected reinforcements, the equation becomes even clearer. Al Horford, even at 39 years old, is still a walking basketball encyclopedia on the court. His defensive reading is impeccable, his ability to stretch the floor with three-point shots keeps defenses honest, and his leadership is an intangible asset that can transform locker rooms. D'Anthony Melton, on the other hand, offers youth, energy, and versatility. He can play as a secondary ball handler, be used as a small forward, guard multiple positions, and add outside shooting. In theory, both are perfect reinforcements to deepen the roster. But without Kuminga, the pieces don't fit together as smoothly. It's like trying to complete a puzzle with missing pieces. The clock is ticking, and this is the big question. By October 1st, the Warriors management needs to end this saga. Otherwise, the season could start in a turbulent environment, something that never suits a team already carrying the weight of age in its main stars. Steph Curry, at 37, continues to play at an absurd level, but each season is a precious resource that cannot be wasted. Draymond Green and Klay Thompson are not eternal either. That's why Kuminga, at 22, becomes a central piece. He represents continuity, physical vigor, and the promise of a less painful transition to the future. The most intriguing part is imagining the speculative scenarios. What if Kuminga doesn't sign? Is there any possibility of a sign-and-trade? Would management consider another impactful move? Or is this just a contractual tug-of-war that, in the end, will end with him signing and returning to training smoothly? The truth is, for now, fans can only wait. The outcome of this story will determine not only the offseason, but perhaps the entire direction of the Warriors in 2026. Imagine training camp started without Kuminga, Horford, and Melton officially on the roster. Preparation would be compromised, rotation testing delayed, and new players' adaptation hindered. Now imagine the opposite scenario. Kuminga renewed, Horford and Melton signed, Payton too ready to resume his role, and Curry leading a rejuvenated group. This difference may seem small, but it's the fine line between a quiet rebuilding season and a real campaign competing at the top of the Western Conference. In the end, the big question remains. Are we witnessing just a preseason stumble, a typical NBA contract saga, or a sign that the Warriors may be facing greater challenges than we imagined? The answer will come soon, because the clock doesn't stop. Until October 1st, all eyes will be on Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors management. The outcome of this story could not only save the offseason, but also shape the destiny of one of the most remarkable franchises of modern basketball. And you, fan, have you already chosen which side you're on? Is it just a temporary delay, or the beginning of a new turbulent era for Golden State? News 2. The sound of the crowd echoes through the Chase Center. The camera pans across the empty court, while the spotlights illuminate the stands, like a temple awaiting its next battle. The narrator's voice comes in firm. No matter how many years pass, whenever the offseason arrives, one question keeps haunting Golden State Warriors fans. How do you keep Stephen Curry's flame alive? How do you extend the window of one of the greatest players in history without wasting the final chapters of his career? It is in this atmosphere of anticipation that a rumor emerges capable of shaking the entire NBA. The Warriors, who have already brought in Jimmy Butler to strengthen their quest for another title, are reportedly eyeing a name that could transform the team's defensive identity. Walker Kessler, center of the Utah Jazz, a young player just 24 who is already among the league's best rim protectors. According to the scenario outlined by Nathaniel Holloway of Athlon Sports, the trade would involve Buddy Hield and draft picks going to Utah in exchange for Kessler. For some, it seems risky. For others, it could be exactly the piece needed to reignite the dream of another championship in San Francisco. The context is clear. Golden State is coming off an offseason full of uncertainties. Jonathan Kuminga, the 22-year-old forward who represents the franchise's future, is still in the middle of restricted free agent contract negotiations. Meanwhile, veterans like Al Horford, D'Anthony Melton, and Gary Payton too have already verbally committed but have not officially signed. The roster looks solid on the perimeter, but weak in the front court. Horford brings leadership and experience, but he cannot be seen as a long-term solution. Kevin Looney is reliable but limited, and Draymond Green, despite his defensive genius, has never been a natural rim protector. That is where Kessler's name gains weight. Kessler's stats may seem modest at first glance, 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game last season. But anyone who follows basketball knows that his impact goes far beyond surface-level numbers. He is a specialist, a player who alters shots, intimidates opponents, and simply by being in the paint, despite and still playing at high-level defenses. The Warriors haven't had this type of piece since the days of Andrew Bogut, at the start of their dynasty. Imagine for a moment Curry running the offense, Butler bringing intensity, Kuminga adding youth, Draymond coordinating the defense, and Kessler protecting the rim. This quintet would have balance, strength, and a new identity to face the giants of the West. But every major change comes at a cost. To acquire Kessler, Golden State would have to give up Buddy Hield and draft picks. Hield is still one of the league's most respected shooters, capable of spacing the floor and punishing defenses that collapse on Curry. His average of more than 8 3-point attempts per game, with a success rate above 38%, cannot be ignored. Yet at the same time, it is precisely this abundance of shooters that makes Hield a tradable asset. The Warriors already have Curry, Klay Thompson, Moses Moody, and even Melton contributing on the perimeter. What the team doesn't have and urgently needs is someone like Kessler. On the other side, the Utah Jazz view this possibility with pragmatic logic. Kessler will be a restricted free agent in 2026, and extension talks have already stalled. The risk of losing the center without any return is real. By receiving Buddy Hield, the Jazz would add veteran shooting and leadership to a young locker room. Additionally, the draft picks would give a franchise flexibility to plan the future without hurry. It's the typical trade where one team seeks immediate impact and the other looks toward tomorrow. The central question is simple yet powerful. Is it worth it for Golden State to bet on Walker Kessler now, even if he could be just a short-term rental? The answer depends on how you view Curry's moment. At 37, the number 30 continues defying time, but every season is precious. Butler brings intensity. Kuminga symbolizes the future, but without an elite rim protector. The Warriors remain vulnerable against Jokic, Davis, and Gobert. In a Western Conference where every detail decides playoff series, having someone like Kessler could be the difference between falling in the semifinals and returning to the NBA Finals. For Utah, the scenario is strategic as well. If they believe Kessler won't re-sign, it's best to extract value now. Hield would not only be an elite shooter, but also a mentor for Keontae George and Taylor Hendricks, while opening space for Lauri Markkanen's offensive development. In the medium term, draft picks become the most valuable currency in modern NBA. The camera returns to Curry training in slow motion, sweating in the empty gym. The narration concludes reflectively. Golden State knows it's racing against the clock. The rumor involving Walker Kessler may be just speculation, but it could also be the bold move that defines the epilogue of the Curry era. Will the Warriors take the risk? Is Kessler really the missing piece? Or is it just another high-stakes gamble in a franchise that refuses to accept the end of its dynasty? So, Warriors fans, what do you think about all this? On one side, the contract renewal saga, still holding attention, and leaving the team incomplete for training camp. On the other, the speculation of a bold trade that could bring a young and consistent rim protector to finally strengthen the front court. Should Golden State focus all its energy on securing the future of the talent already in-house, or take the risk to bring in a piece that could immediately change the team's dynamics? Curry's window won't last forever, and every decision counts. I want to hear your opinion. Which of these moves is more important for the Warriors right now? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation only makes sense with you. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss any updates from the Bay Area. The season promises to be long and full of twists, and we'll follow every detail together.